What's going on, everybody? Welcome back into the Sports Arena and the National Scouting Combine. Your man, Eric Wilson here. And today, I'm spotlighting a leader in the trenches. He's from SMSU, offensive lineman, and also the team captain, Tyler Nebelung. Tyler, thank you so much for joining me, brother. How are you?
Good. Thanks for having me.
All right, man. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know Tyler, let me tell you a little bit about him. He's a cornerstone for the Mustangs, a multi-year starter, stabilizing force on the left side as an athlete whose toughness comes from years of wrestling and track and field. Ladies and gentlemen, we got a triple threat in the building. His consistency and his leadership have shaped the identity of his offense. So, Tyler, let's jump right in, my brother. You've grown into a major leadership role within this program. When you look back on your journey, what moment or turning point, if you will, made you feel like, man, this is my team, but this is also my responsibility?
Yeah, the big moment that I noticed it kind of started even with recruiting. Here at Southwest, I had two coaching staffs, and that first original coaching staff, they put a lot of effort into me. And seeing that transition from the old staff to the new staff, I was one of the older guys. I was one of the guys coming back and just trying to lead the guys through the adversity and the new coaching staff. That really set me up for success. And then also with the position coaches I had and head coach, they all like trusted me into bringing guys along. Season's going good or not, like I was always one of the guys that just kept going and trying to lead by example.
And you've been incredibly consistent for SMSU, starting nearly every game for multiple seasons. So what do you credit your durability and day-to-day discipline, whether it's your training habits, your preparation mentality? What do you credit for that?
Yeah, the big thing I credit for it is my determination. I always want to get better. I spent my first year here, I was a backup left tackle. And then as I went into my redshirt freshman year, I started every game. So I started every game through my 44 starts. Uh, Before my final year, I only missed 4 offensive snaps. One of that was just basic helmet coming off. The other was we were up on a team, we put the twos in. And this last season was the first time that I've been taken out due to injury, but I was able to come back the following year or following day with the team, meetings, all that stuff. And I was able to come out in the field the next week. The guys really wanted me to come out, and I was able to work with the trainers and with the strength staff and really get me ready for it. But yeah, I'd say my determination is the big thing where I just want to get better and I don't want to waste the very little time I have. I don't want to waste that.
So talk to me about that, because as a left tackle, your responsibility is protecting the quarterback's blind side. So what's your routine like as you line up before each snap? Give us an inside look through the lens of Tyler.
Yeah, the first thing is just seeing what front they're in and kind of knowing who they have ahead of me and what blitzes and stuff they want to do from certain fronts, and just understanding the guys next to me. I've been lucky enough where I was a left tackle for my 3 of my 4 years. In this past season, I actually got moved to right tackle, which I was much better at playing through injury and stuff. And yeah, I just consistent stance, knowing where my weight is shifted in my stance and knowing how to get out of my stance fast enough. I'd say just being able to move out of that stance and understanding kind of what their go-to is a big advantage, and that's kind of what I think about before every snap.
So you were named Team Offensive Player of the Week after the Minot State game. Is that correct?
Yep.
So what clicked for you that week, and what made that performance the one that stood out?
Yeah, so that week that was struggling in that game. We couldn't get a whole lot moving on offense, and we were able to just get a touchdown at the end of the first half. We're trying to get some momentum into that second half, and we ended up coming out winning that game. But that was a really scrappy game, and I first game of the year 2 years ago, and I wasn't expecting anything like that, knowing O linemen aren't really the ones that get looked at in that aspect. But yeah, it's just kind of keep my head down, keep moving. I've been fortunate enough to be the special teams player of the week for a couple times now this off season or this past season. just being a long snapper too. So just trying to play while I can.
So let's talk about that, because as we know, all teams face adversity. How did this year's roster handle those moments, and what role did you as a leader play through those tough stretches?
Yeah, the way our team worked through adversity is we all, with the history that SMSU has and stuff, we always want to be a part of something bigger than ourselves. We want to look at what we can do and the future. We never really want to like look at the past and let that affect tomorrow. Um, but just being a leader, it's seeing the transition from me being a young guy playing to being the older guy on the team and having the most experience. That guys just come up and look up to you, and that's what I'm very proud of is the guys coming up to me and trusting me and watching me and how I play and how I get ready for the week, and ideally them mimic part of that in their game to where they can get better.
I want to touch on that in just a second, because you talked about the history of your time at SMSU, and how you've kind of elevated the dynamic within that locker room, specifically on the offensive side. But before we get to that, let's talk about the defensive side. You've gone up against a lot of defensive fronts. Has there been a lineman or a scheme that has challenged you while you've been there the most?
Yeah, I'd say our defense. Our defense at Southwest, we run a three down, and you don't see that much in college ball. You don't see that much in our conference. Um, and I think the guys in our locker room are the guys that give me the most trouble. We have two D linemen specifically. Avery Johnson. He's been a stud at Southwest. He's been hit with some injuries a couple times already. So he's coming back for another year to play out. And then the other guy on our D line is JoJo Parham. He's big frame, tall, lanky D end, and he's got some power. And I'd say throughout my 5 years here, he's been the one that gives me the most trouble, where you can't just sit on there one move or two moves. He's got that speed and the strength to kind of run through you. And that three down is definitely new, at least for us. We always ran against the four down, and the old staff we had here, they ran against the four down and everything. So learning and kind of how to adapt our run game rules and stuff to a different front, I think helps me prepare and being able to adjust mid game if they throw something else at us.
All right, so let's talk about. I want to go back to, like I said, I want to go back to some of your proudest moments. As an athlete, as a player, as a member of SMSU. Talk to me about some of those moments where, whether it be on the field or off the field, where you just kind of took a pause and you embraced everything positive that was happening, and you just had a clarity moment of, this is me, this is what I'm doing, and the next level should be concerned because I'm embracing who I am.
Yeah, so on the field, I think the moment that I just kind of sat back and enjoyed the show was this year against Jamestown. We were playing offensive struggles either side of the ball, and the defense was just lights out. And we were end of the game trying to get some first downs, run the clock out, and we were forced to punt. And I'm a big guy. I'm over 320 pounds, and I'm the starting long snapper for us. So snapped it, running downfield, and I actually recovered the game-winning muffed punt. Um, hit off one of the gunners, one of the punt return gunners, um, and just jumping on it and just embracing that joy with the guys. I'd say outside of the field, it would be my freshman year. While I'm here at Southwest, I was also on the track and field team, and coming in as a true freshman and placing in a very competitive conference meet for our discus and throughout the years, shot put, stuff like that. Being able to compete at a high level in a conference that is really good with having professional throwers, and I'm there competing with them. I'm there beating some of them, placing in conference, and I'm just a part timer throwing the shot put, throwing the disc. So kind of seeing that where I can be as good as anybody else, if not better, and through that part of it, just as like a part-timer. So I can only imagine what I could have done if I was a full-time like solo athlete there. So
All right. While I got you, Tyler, I got 5 rapid fire questions I'm gonna give you. All right, you ready?
Yeah.
So my first one, and since you brought it up, I'm kind of glad. This is kind of where I was going, so I appreciate that. In your opinion, what's tougher, a long drive blocking series or a full day of track and field throws?
I'd definitely say drive blocking series.
All right. What's your favorite post game meal after a big win?
Yeah, I'm big into like pasta, so chicken parm. I love that right after games.
All right. If you could block for any NFL running back, past or present, who are you picking?
I'm gonna say Dalvin Cook. Being Minnesota, I love watching him play. Grew up. That's when I started watching NFL. Was kind of Dalvin Cook days here.
All right. Give me one word that teammates would use to describe your leadership style.
Example, leading by example.
All right. And what's the hype song you're listening to before you run out the tunnel at Southwest
It
Minnesota State University?
definitely cut the cord by Shinedown.
All right. Good deal. Hey, thank you so much, Tyler, for doing this. As always, before I end this conversation, I'd like to give you the opportunity to directly speak to the coaches and to the scouts and those who will be watching this, who are potentially going to get an opportunity to see you in Naples in January at the National Scouting Combine, sir. So the floor is yours.
Yeah, I'd just like to point out, I think my biggest strengths are my experience, my size, and after everything, man, I just love being a master of my craft, um, and I just like getting better and always knowing I can be better. So whatever aspect that is, I could always do better, and I'm just excited to get better, to learn from people, and to build on what I've already built upon.